For old-fashioned recipes and your gardening needs, while sipping on Kentucky bourbon. You sit right back in your big red hat, we're taking rural back from the urban. Listen to the stories where Kentucky is proud, share the giggles with all of your friends. You all tuned in to Friends Drifting.
Good morning. It's the absentee Joyce
and Charlie
from Friends Drift In. We've been busy, y'all. It's been a wild ride.
We had a big show last weekend. We had a big Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Hey, great thing about Sunday is we got to see Shane and Natasha, our great nephew and niece.
And we hadn't seen them in 4 years, y'all. So that was kind of a big deal. Big deal. So our show went well.
Yes.
We were really glad about that. Shout out to Manchester Music Hall and to
Lexington Mercantile, Ellie and Adam.
Ellie and Adam, we're really grateful to be able to participate in that each time we go up to Central Kentucky. We were able to take Shane and Natasha out to eat, and I want to thank Chef Jeremy Ashby.
Yes.
Sunday morning we were also with our niece Deanna, and it was a real thrill to be with them, and Jeremy really did it upright. Not quite a chef's
usual
table, but just really made it special. I'm always grateful to my friend Jeremy. So we got a lot of things on the burner right now.
Well, if you look behind us, you see these boxes. We finally were able to get jars.
We got jars, y'all.
We've actually got 2 orders of jars in, so we're over 1,000 jars ready to fill now. That's what we'll be doing tomorrow.
Tomorrow and Monday. We got to work on our pepper jams and our pepper jellies, particularly. They've been selling very well, and maybe our tomato jams. We're trying to get as much put back because since we've last talked to you, of course, the thing is heating up again. Lots of talk about state mandates and whether you're going to have to do this and what and all is going on. So we're trying to get as much done before, in case they do, slow down business or
Heaven forbid shut down things.
Shut down things here in Kentucky. We're praying that doesn't happen, and we're praying that people that are sick, we empathize with you, but business we have to be doing. It's hurt us. It has hurt us tremendously this past year, and we're trying to make up for lost time. We're very excited that we will be doing a show before you see this.
Yes.
So we'll be seeing it. You'll see this tomorrow. So we will be doing a show in Jessamine County, Kentucky, which is kind of not Lexington and not Frankfort, but kind of in that area.
Just outside of Lexington.
And what's the name of it?
The Wine and Vine Festival.
Wine and Vine Festival. We usually do very well at those type of things where we do a lot of alcoholic-based, flavored. They're not based, but we do some with bourbon flavor, and we do a moonshine, strawberry moonshine. It's very popular. So we're excited about doing that. That's going to be out in the field, y'all, and we won't have electric, so that means no fan. And we're going to have to take a lot of backups to be able to run the square. So I don't know how that's going to go, but we're going to try it once and see how it goes.
That's things you got to think about when you do these festivals and shows is what kind of situation we're going to be at. A big farmer's field, looks like, and it's going to be a beautiful place to be, but again, no electricity. Your vehicle is going to be parked away from you, so you don't be able to use your battery out of your vehicle and stuff for extra power.
And when it's this is a 2-day show, right?
No, 1.
This is a 1-day show. That won't be so bad. When we do the 2-day shows,
and we have a visitor.
When we do the 2-day shows, sometimes you have to unload, get it set up, and then come right back down and take it down at the end of the evening, and that can be really tiring. So 1-day show, you got it done. Well, she's checking out the beer.
This is the nosy one right here. This is the one we call Bull.
He is wherever we are.
He sticks his nose into everything.
Charlie had set up the easel, or the tripod. I'm artistic, so easel. But he set up the tripod and come in to get me. So I was ready to go. Let's shoot this. And we come back out, and I guess there were 9 cats in the truck. It's just like, really? Can you all just not behave for 10 seconds? And the answer is no.
No.
When you have kittens, they're into everything. And
Lots of kittens, lots of cat food.
This bunch has been a terror. I mean, they're just always into something. It's the most crazy cats we've had in a long time. She got your shirt dirty, too.
Yeah, I'm sure she did. She's something else. Got dirt all over me, didn't you?
That's all right.
Yeah, it's all right.
That's all right.
It's a sweet little kitten.
So, what else is going on? We are, our greenhouse has hit a
little bit of a lull, but it's picking back up, yeah.
And that's going to happen every once in a while. It just kind of had a lull where it's just been, the weather has been really hot and then it's really cool in the evenings, and that kind of slows things down on production of the tomatoes. But they're going to bounce back, and we've got the slicers are doing really well. But we're waiting particularly on our paste tomatoes, and they just aren't quite where they need to be. But they're starting to redden up a little bit. The paste tomatoes, of course, we use for our tomato bourbon jam, and I dry some of the oddball ones because it's the same thing. When the fruit is bruised and you can't use it, what does Jacob say?
That's what the farmer eats. Right. Jake and I were able to put up, our beans were running late. We were able to get our fences up for the vines to run on, I guess, 2 days ago. Nice hot evening.
So hot. Humid. It has been so sticky here. So things on the farm are, we're plodding along.
Cucumbers, we got cucumbers coming in. Cucumbers, tomatoes, got bell peppers coming in. We've got zucchini and yellow squash right now. We'll be having beans and more bell peppers coming in here soon. Bell peppers we're raising for our pepper jams.
So it's exciting. It seems like it's been a little slow this year because we were late getting things out because we were worried about the flooding.
Right.
So, but so far, God has blessed us, no floods, and we've had a few deer issues, but
as always,
we're trying to plug right along. Now, I guess something that we ought to talk about simply because it has been on, if you followed a lot of the homesteading videos, people that homestead, people that aspire to be self-sufficient, people that are, for lack of a better word, preppers. There's been a lot of chatter about, the stores are running out of food. Now, I don't know where it is where you all are, and we'd like to hear, so tell us down in the comments. But we're in the heart of Appalachia, and we're not seeing it. My mama and I went shopping Friday to take advantage of a special sale Food City was having, and she kept asking me, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And I was tiptoeing, looking, and crated my neck to see. And I mean, our shelves are not just faced up; they are flush. I mean, as far back as you can see. In fact, some of the things, they were packed so hard on there that it was hard to get them off the shelf. It was packed so deep. So I'm sure part of that was preparation for the first of the month, because they always have a big surge right at the first of the month. But it was packed, really packed hard. The only place that I saw any shelves that were empty, we stopped at Dollar General for a few minutes, and Dollar General was getting ready to do a reset on an aisle that was seasonal, so I really don't count that as, so it was empty, but yes, merchandise was on the floor to replace what they were moving around.
And if you don't know anything about retail, right now retail is getting set for Thanksgiving, fall and Thanksgiving.
You're already seeing the Halloween candy, you're seeing the Thanksgiving candy, you're seeing stuff, they're trying to reset. Of course, if you're a business person, a lot of businesses, July is the month where they end their year.
Right.
So they try to spin their inventory down in July on a deliberate basis. But now we empathize. We're not saying that there's not shortages, and we're not saying that there's not bare shelves where you are. But we're not seeing it this week here. Now, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was a little nervous. But it seems to have picked right back up, and things is business as usual.
And you never know what causes things. Could be a dip in the supply chain. There could be, there's some trucker strikes in some places we know of, and that's going to be a reason for you to have supply issues. And that doesn't necessarily mean that there's not available product. That just means it's not able to get to you at this time.
And, it's always good to have a week's worth of food put back. Then you ought to make that a rule. because you just never know when
Yeah, it's
crazy
just, you know,
things going to happen, and better to err on the side of caution.
You know, and we grew up country people, so we can and preserve our own foods anyway. So we've got probably more than that, as far as especially in vegetables.
Yep. But we share that with Mom and with Anita,
Right.
Jake and Mark as well. So we try to spread the love around a little bit, y'all. So what else is going on, Charlie?
Well, like I said, we got that festival coming up, and then it's going to be apple season, folks, and we have got a lot of apple butter.
You may
to
never
do this
see
year.
us again.
Good problem to have.
I grew up, my grandfather had a commercial orchard, and apples were a big part of that. And I knew from a very young age the difference between a Lodi and a Macintosh. And, I know these things. And so, apples is kind of what I grew up with. And we used to make our own apple butter and apple cider. Had a hand crank, did it outside. And that was fun. But doing it commercially, y'all, I can talk all the romance about how I love apples and I love the different varieties that we use, and I love the way that our apple butter is, we call it a spiced apple butter, and it's more fresh. It's not as cinnamon heavy as a lot of the apple butters that you may have grew up with, and I can just talk about it all day long. But when it comes right down to it, there is the one product that I hate to make in the kitchen is apple butter, y'all. And it's because
Apple butter gets so thick when you cook it, and it's so viscous that when it pops, and it'll spray little dabs of apple butter out, and it's so thick it'll hit your arms. If you don't have long sleeve shirts and gloves on, you'll get scalded.
You're gonna get scars, and you got to get it really, really hot, because a lot of people talk about, well, what's the difference between commercial canning and home canning? And the thing that especially with something like apple butter, where it's so thick, being able to get it up to that temperature to kill all the boogers that are in there, it's hard to do on a home stove, just a regular home stove, really getting it up to the temperature that you need it to get up, and holding that temperature and making sure that the center of it, and then as you fill, making sure that the temperature doesn't fall, and you got to keep that temperature even, and it's really quite a process. And
a lot of it depends on your equipment too. You got to have the right equipment. We are able to use a steam jacketed kettle, so we
use two, actually.
Yeah, that's true.
We use one to mush them down and one to cook them down. It goes a little faster that way, but we have to run it through a mill, to get the product the smooth as we like it.
Consistency, right?
And it's just dirty. It's not dirty. I mean, we make a clean product, but it's when the kitchen is done, it's another hour or so to get everything cleaned up, because we get it all over everything, and it's hard to pour, because right now we are still hand pouring every single jar. But we're blessed to have the business. So while I kvetch a lot about making apple butter, when the day is done and we're all boxed up and ready to go out to our clients, I'm a happy woman.
We're proud to use a lot of Kentucky products, and we use Kentucky apples. And last year was a tough year for us to getting apples, because Kentucky had a late frost, and it killed just about every apple bloom in the state of Kentucky. So we had to struggle to find the right apples to do what we wanted to do. Hopefully this year we're going to have a banner year, because we didn't have that late frost. So we've got a new place to get some of our apples from, we think, from one of our clients. We try to get them as close as we can to where we're at. That makes it a lot better, so we know the product, we know the farmers. Well, like I said, we use Kentucky blueberries, we grow our own tomatoes, we grow our own peppers, and so we do a lot of that stuff to try to make our product more Eastern Kentucky.
Yep. So I'm excited about fall coming up, but right now it's kind of the dog days. It's hot, it's humid. The cats don't want to do anything but lay around. The dog doesn't want to co-play. She doesn't want to run for her milk bone. She just wants you to give it to her and let her go in the shade. It's just so hot.
The humidity has been very high, and we're about to get some rain hopefully here today. That's one of the reasons we're shooting where we're at right now, so that we can be covered up enough to keep outside, but also be able to stay sheltered from the rain. It looks kind of bad when you get rain on your phone and stuff.
Yeah, well, you know, it's real. We are what we are.
We got a lot. We do have a lot of things on the back burner going on right now. We got some big shows coming up. Of course, my time is about ready to get really, really busy. We got apple butter. We got football. We got shows. We've got all kinds of things coming up here in the mountains. And the biggest thing we got, I guess, we got our biggest show that we've done other than Hillbilly Days, which is our hometown show. But we're going to go to the Chicken Festival here in a couple of months, about a month. Chicken Festival is held in the London, Corbin area, the home of Kentucky Fried Chicken. Colonel Harlan Sanders had his first chicken, made his first chicken in his mom's old cast iron skillet in a gas station.
In a gas station. And, you know, we have I have a long history with Colonel Sanders. Of course, when the Colonel was trying to get his franchise off the ground, he went around to a lot of mom and pop restaurants trying to get him to buy the pressure cooker and use his recipes. And of course, when he came to Friends Drift Inn, my grandpa, being a very independent man, told him to go pound salt. He wanted nothing to do with Colonel Sanders. But years later, I was blessed. I was at a 4-H convention at the University of Kentucky. I was probably junior high school.
Yeah.
And that was still when the old Commonwealth.
Commonwealth Stadium.
Was it? Is Commonwealth the old one?
No, Stoll Field.
Stoll Field, which is now where the stood on the corner there at Euclid.
It's the student center now.
Yeah, kind of in that area. Anyway, at Stoll Field, we had a day where we had box lunches, or maybe it was box dinners, and the Colonel came. We don't know why, because he wasn't expected. I mean, it was a big surprise to have the Colonel come to the 4-H thing, and he just came and kind of mingled with everybody, and then he went and sat by himself to eat his chicken. And I couldn't stand to see somebody sit by himself, so I went and sat with the Colonel, and he gave me his autograph and all. I thought that was the greatest thing ever. And of course, later on, Colonel Sanders, he has a statue, assuming it hasn't been moved.
Right.
We have a statue in the state capitol. And when we took Jake, when he was probably 4 or 5, we took Jake to the state capitol. He didn't know Abraham Lincoln, and he didn't know Jefferson Davis, but he sure did know.
Know the Colonel.
Know the Colonel. So, that's the way those go. And of course, it was funny that it's the Chicken Man. It's the Chicken Man.
I guess the anniversary of our starting making jam jelly for Friends Drift Inn is coming up, because it's getting ready to be fair time here in Kentucky.
It is. Kentucky State Fair coming up, and usually comes up in mid-August, early to mid-August. Hoping that it goes out with, has a big bash this year, because it was a very limited fair last year, and hoping that things just kind of settle down and we're able to get back to some kind of normal. We'll see how that all plays out, but we have high hopes. Kentucky State Fair is always a great time, especially for people that went to the University of Kentucky or in agriculture and 4-H, because it's just kind of like old home week. You see everybody from all over, people that you don't see all year, you'll see them at the State Fair.
We're big State Fair people. We've been to the State Fair many times. We've done all the exhibits. We've done a lot of the shows. We go to the music venues. Midway. Well, the state fairs are something. Even in every state that has, and I think every state has a state fair. You ought to go at least once and see what some of the things in your state are doing. There's a lot of people out there proud to get their products out there and their home cooked stuff taken care of, their vegetables and everything, different kinds of awards out there. We were able to go the first time they gave away honey awards.
Not honey, it was
maple syrup awards.
Maple syrup awards. We just added maple syrup a few years ago for Kentucky, which is kind of a weird thing if you don't really think of Kentucky as being a maple syrup producer, but we're getting there, y'all.
Well,
we're getting there.
We did a show on maple syrup with our friends.
Yeah. We'll drop that link up above.
So it was a great idea to see how that's going. And matter of fact, they're still selling maple syrup today. They were out today with Maple Syrup and Honey Day. They were doing their honey this morning.
Yeah. So
or last night, I guess, for today.
That's a good thing. And what else is going on?
Well, everything's going. Mama's doing really good.
Mom's fine.
And Jacob's going to go with us in the morning to make jam. That's one of the things to know. He's going to head out with us bright and early. Tomorrow is hot pepper jam, so we're going to wear our rubber gloves and our long sleeves again.
And we might wear masks, y'all, not because we have to, but because sometimes that fumes can get a little bit pungent.
Yeah, that's one of the things. We're going to do a hot pepper sauce, a pepper eventually, and that's one of the things. If you ever mess with hot peppers, you start cooking them, make sure you're in a well-ventilated area. I made hot sauce.
And goggles, and you know.
I made hot sauce one year, and it just about ran us out of the house.
Peeled paint off the wall. But it was a fun project. It's a fun project, and that was kind of inspired by something Ed Lee down in Louisville was doing, where he was doing a lot of fermenting. That was when he first had his fermenting, what was it, pickles, and I can't even remember the name of it, but his book. And it was about that
Smoking
time.
pickles.
Smoking pickles, yeah. And we were playing with some of Ed's recipes, and that was fun too.
You know, we're always experimenting with something for ourselves personally and for the business. Stay tuned. We've got a really good pickled jalapeno coming up here as soon as we can get it approved. We'll tell you more about that later on.
Deborah, let's go.
It's so hard to get anything done right now. A lot of government offices are still working from home, working limited hours, which means if they're not in the lab, they can't test anything.
So we just kind of hanging on, y'all, and just kind of dug in and got a little bit of that Appalachian stubbornness and stick-to-itness. And if they would just let us be, I believe we'd be all right. We just have to do what we have to do. Not much else really going on. It's kind of that summer, you know, we're about ready to hit the peak, and so it's that hurry up and wait kind of thing. When everything starts ripening, we'll be more in the kitchen, and we'll probably do some shows from over there again.
Yeah, we may try to do something if they'll let us. We may try to do some of our own canning over there this year for ourselves. So
just so we can film it and show y'all some things to do for home canning. We got lots of ideas, y'all. It's just life is busy. Life is busy.
It is. I mean, you know, we spend a lot of hours, you know, waiting, you know, running back and forth. We got to go. You know, we got our storefront and our office in Pikeville. We got the farm. We've got the high tunnel. We've got the kitchen. So some days, like, we miss a week every now and then, we apologize. But, you know, sometimes when you're doing those shows and you're working to get enough product made to get to those shows, then you just don't, you know, you got to sacrifice something.
So it is what it is, y'all. We wish you all the best. We're cheering for our friends down in the western part of the state. Every day their house gets a little closer to being finished after their big disaster. We're also excited for some of our other friends. Maggie and Will have been really doing some expansions on their farm, Old Hold Place Farm, and Jarrett at Flutie Lick Farm. Y'all can follow him. He's over in Martin County, just a mountain over. It wouldn't be very far to get there, but by the time you have to wiggle around, it's probably 30 miles. But he's just over the mountain from us, and if you're not following Jared at Flutie Lick Farm, F-L-U-T-Y, you ought to, because he's just kind of...
He's the oldest young man you'll ever meet.
I think that's a fair assessment.
He's probably in his early 30s, but he's got the heart of a 70-year-old man.
You know, and very, very much a part of Appalachia and the old ways. And we're glad to know him. Not much else going on. You know, again, we're kind of in that hurry up and wait stage. So we appreciate you dropping in, seeing what's going on here at the Big Red Barn. We'll try to get back to a regular thing. Y'all, we need to get 1,000 followers so we can do lives. This takes us, right now, it's taking us, you know, it takes us half an hour, 45 minutes to do the show. Then we need another hour or so to get it edited and cleaned up if we're doing any drop-ins. But after we do that, then we have to get it uploaded, and that takes 2 or 3 hours. And if we could start going live, you know, we have to have 1,000 followers to go live. So tell your friends. It would make it so much easier on us, and we wouldn't be just talking like this. We would be saying, hey, I see you in the chat. How you be? You know, we miss y'all, and that's one way that we can stay connected, whether they keep us open or not. So help us out, and we hope that your summer is going well. I'm Joyce.
I'm Charlie.
We're Friends Drift In.